Good morning. Welcome to the September 28th meeting of Hardin County Fiscal Court. This is a voting meeting. I'd remind you, if you have cell phones, please turn them off or put them in vibrate mode. We'll begin with a roll call, if you would, Ms. Donnelly.
King.
Here.
Judge Berry.
Here.
Easter.
Here.
Doug Goodman.
Here.
Williams. Here. Clem. Wiseman.
Here.
Thompson. Ronnie Goodman.
Here. Mr. Easter will lead us in the invocation, and Ms. Williams in the pledge. If you please stand.
Join me in a word of prayer. Dear Heavenly Father, we're so thankful for this day and just the blessings of life that you have given us. I just want to thank those from leadership in the past who have made decisions that some of those have come forward to this day. I want to especially thank those in leadership today who are going to carry the ball forward in everything that we do and everything we say. And one thing around this table that we're all unified in one aspect is we want what's best for those citizens of Hardin County that we represent. We all have the same ideas about safe communities, a place to raise your family, good jobs. So we ask that you be with us today as we make decisions on this agenda. You never know where they may lead down the road, and we want to do the best we can for decisions today. Be with us now, and for all these things, we give you the praise and the glory. In the name of Jesus Christ, I pray. Amen.
Amen. Please join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We're going to start today with a public hearing regarding a road closure in the Serene Oaks subdivision. Conducting the public hearing today will be the Assistant County Attorney, Mr. Don Jones.
Thank you, Judge. We are here to conduct that hearing on road closure pursuant to KRS 178. There are a few items I need to put on the record first before having Mr. King testify to Fiscal Court. A request has been made by B&B Homes, LLC, to discontinue an undeveloped future street, 50-foot right-of-way, north of Rebecca Ann Court at Rosenberger Lane, Elizabethtown, Kentucky, in the Serene Oaks Subdivision, Section 2. Today's public hearing was initially scheduled for 3:30 today, and notice of that date and time was made by placing 3 signs on the property beginning on September the 10th, and by a first-class mailing to all adjoining property owners also tendered on September 10th, and by placing an ad in the News Enterprise dated September 19th. No one has contacted the Department of Planning and Development to express interest or opposition. Planning staff will be present at 3:30 here at the Fiscal Court hearing room should someone wish to be heard on this matter. If that should occur, then we would reopen the hearing to allow those individuals to speak. On September 14th, 2021, Fiscal Court appointed viewers Charlie Allen, Adam King, and Dwight Morgan to make a written report to the court as to any inconvenience that would result from the discontinuance of the road, and that report is included in your materials. The law requires the Planning Commission to review discontinuance of the road in accordance with the county's comprehensive plan, and Adam King is going to speak to that. And so, Mr. King, if you'd step up. First, I need to swear you in. Do you swear, affirm, tell the truth, the whole truth?
I do.
And Mr. King, state your name and your employment.
Adam King, Hardin County Planning and Development Director.
Would you provide the court with the background regarding this request?
Yes, sir. So again, as Don indicated, B&B Homes, LLC has submitted this application for a road closing request. That's Bruce Beasley. It's a 50-foot undeveloped right-of-way for future street. This went before the Planning Commission on September 7th, and they are sending a favorable recommendation to Fiscal Court to close the road. The list of exhibits will enter into the record. KRS 100.3244, the vicinity map, the zoning map, aerial photographs, a plat of Serene Oaks Subdivision Section 2 from 2003, We've got a plat of the adjoining Rosie Tulip subdivision, Section 2, that's from 2020. A proposed amended plat of Serene Oak subdivision, Section 2, lots 8 and 9, that's the adjoining lots. That's dated this year. Photographs of the site. I have prepared a staff report that you all should have, and a comprehensive plan analysis, Planning Commission Resolution 2021-010, Fiscal Court Resolution 2021-167, that was the resolution to appoint the viewers. The viewers report that Charlie, the county engineer, and Dwight, the county road supervisor, and myself have signed. And then I've prepared a resolution, Fiscal Court Resolution 2021-173 for your all's consideration. And then, as always, we'd like to submit the county's comprehensive plan and zoning ordinance into the record. 100-3244 states that the Planning Commission shall evaluate street closings with regards to the comp plan, make a recommendation to Fiscal Court. Again, Serene Oak subdivision, we are south on Gaither Station Road, south of the Parkway. We're actually across the street from the Elizabethtown wastewater treatment plant. So the proposed road closing is circled there in red. We're north of Rosenberger in Serene Oak subdivision section 2. So this will kind of give you a feel for where we're at. This is on the north side of Serene Oaks. This right-of-way went into an adjoining farm that was also owned by Bruce Beasley that has since been developed into 2 sections. Rosie Tulip is the name of that subdivision. And then again, the E-Town wastewater treatment plant is on the left-hand side of your screen. Just zooming in a little tighter there, you can see these aerial photos are from 2020. So the first section of Rosie Tulip, the roads are in, the houses are built. Section 2, the roads are now in, no homes built yet there. So presently, this right-of-way, there is some gravel. It was basically just used for Bruce to access that adjoining farm. He had some equipment parked there. Here's the plat from 2003 for Serene Oak Section 2. And just zooming in to show that 50-foot undeveloped right-of-way for future street. Again, it joins lots 8 and 9. Here, I've highlighted the right-of-way for closure in pink. So this is Rosie Tulip Section 2 from 2020. Again, these roads aren't county maintained yet. No homes built in this section. But essentially, there, lot 26 is a 16-acre lot that Bruce is going to build his personal home on. And rather than connect the subdivision over to this undeveloped right-of-way, he ended up keeping a big lot there with a pond on it. Just to zoom in there. So here would be the result if we get the road closure. They would merge those 2 portions with the adjoining lots on either side. So that's lot 8 and lot 9. Those are presently vacant, also owned by Bruce Beasley, and he intends to build new homes on both those lots. Here I am at Rebecca Ann Court in Rosenberger looking towards the right-of-way. Just a photograph of the right-of-way with our signage. Again, 3 signs were posted and have been since September 10th. Just another view of the right-of-way. And here I'm walking towards Rosie Tulip to the north and looking into Rosie Tulip. Again, his house that he's building would be in the back right corner of your screen at that tree line. Here I've turned around now and I'm walking back towards Serene Oaks. That's adjoining lot 8 there and adjoining lot 9. Looking east on Rebecca Ann at Rosenberger and looking west back towards Gaither Station Road. This is our staff report. Again, we find that it is in agreement with the comprehensive plan goal 10 to improve the transportation system of Hardin County so that it encourages the smooth flow of traffic throughout the county, and more importantly, objective 10, to evaluate and close streets or streets of record which are not being used, have not been constructed, or are unnecessary. Here is the Planning Commission's resolution sending a favorable recommendation to Fiscal Court. Here's your all's resolution appointing the viewers. And again, our viewers report that no inconvenience would occur from this road closing. And then lastly, just this resolution 2021-173 for your all's consideration. That's all I've got. Happy to answer any questions y'all might have.
Mr. King, would you go ahead and tender to the clerk the exhibits, the viewers report and road closing summary report, please?
Yes, sir.
And if the members have any questions of Mr. King?
Thank you all.
I think you're done, sir. At this time, is there anyone present who wishes to comment on the proposal by B&B Homes LLC to close the road north of Rebecca Ann Court at Rosenberger Lane? This is the open comment period. Seeing no one, the public hearing is closed, and Judge, I'll turn it back over to you.
All right, thank you. We appreciate it. We'll move on then in the agenda to item number 3, which is department and elected office reports. First up, we have a presentation from the Hardin County Public Library. We have with us today Renee Hutchinson and Marlene Youngblood, and Kevin Addington as well.
Good morning.
So each of you have a half hour, is it?
It's a great day to be in Hardin County, and I congratulate each of you for your part in making our future brighter. Everyone at the library is excited, and we're ready to help with resources and services in any way we can. I also thank you for allowing us to make this presentation today about last year. It's good to be here since we missed last year's due to COVID. I think we can all agree it was a strange year. And when you're looking at statistics, comparisons are hard to do, and they're sometimes meaningless when taken under unusual circumstances. KDLA has decided not to capture special statistics or to publish the normal rankings of the top and bottom 10 libraries in certain categories. The significance of the rankings are diminished due to the wide range of services and responses of the libraries across the Commonwealth as they followed restrictions and guidelines from Frankfurt and also the guidelines of the CDC. So this report will be a little different from years past, and it will be shorter. One constant, the next slide shows, is our Board of Trustees. They met faithfully for monthly meetings, whether it was outside, socially distanced inside, or by Zoom, in order to conduct the business of the library. We welcome Suzanne Perla as a new trustee in 2020. These trustees are all volunteers, and they undergo extensive training to make sure they understand the duties and responsibilities in setting policies and in overseeing all library operations. I thank them for their service and support, and I especially want to recognize our president, Marlene Youngblood. She's completing the last year of her 4th term as a trustee. She has served as president from 2002 to 2009, and again from 2014 through the end of this year. She is a dedicated and experienced leader, and we will miss her. The next slide shows our staff. They are another constant. Whether they were working from home or on a staggered schedule at the library, we accomplished much this past year during adverse circumstances. We quickly converted adult and children's programming to virtual formats. We continued to purchase books, process them, and also implemented a curbside pickup service. This next slide tells us about another option we provided was touch-free drop-off and pickup service by our friendly bookmobile librarian. This was especially helpful for the elderly who could not come to the library. Each of you received the annual statistical report in your packets, and I do want to share with you some of the highlights of the past year. Speaking in very broad terms, we had less income, primarily because state aid was withheld last year by the Kentucky General Assembly. We also generated less income since we did not charge late fines. We had fewer copier, fax, and printing fees due to our limited hours and our restricted occupancy. As with most government agencies, we had fewer expenditures. Personnel costs were down 18%, operations were down 19%, and we spent 23% less on the collection compared to last year. Our circulation manager retired in October, and her duties were absorbed by other staff in an effort to save money. Like many libraries, we chose not to renew our print magazines since there was no easy way to clean them or disinfect them between uses, and most of them were due to expire last October. This next slide shows that we did put them to good use. We made sure they weren't wasted. We partnered with Feeding America and we created magazine bundles that went into the food bags that were distributed countywide last fall through their mobile food pantry. This next slide talks about our hours of operation. We were only open 2,070 hours compared to over 4,000 the year before. This shows our curbside pickup schedule to start with was only available in the afternoons. But our patrons quickly adapted. They learned to call and place their reserves online or by phone, then they would pick them up later that day or the next day. We are following the Lincoln Trail Health District recommendation to keep this service available even in non-pandemic times. This next slide relates to our circulation. You would think it would be down by half since we had such reduced hours last year, but we were pleasantly surprised to see that it only dropped 2% from the previous year. And yes, we were out there placing books in cars in all sorts of weather. This next slide shows that our collection holds 315,536 items, which is 4% more than last year. And a large portion of these items are electronic. They are shared through the consortium. That's how we can spend less money on purchasing materials yet end up with more in the collection. This next slide shows how we emphasized outdoor activities, especially for children's programming. We're so grateful to have the Brenda Addington Drain Amphitheater. We held many story times and special events there. The plastic swimming pools were used outside and inside to keep each family self-contained and socially distant. It worked really well for the young babies and the toddlers. The older kids, not so much. This next slide shows how we were gradually able to hold some special events. This past summer, we had a Fancy Nancy tea party and a T-Rex tea party, also with a Birds of Prey presentation from the Raptor Rehabilitation Group in Kentucky. All were part of this year's summer reading program, and they were well attended. This next slide shows our story walk we added this April. It's around the rear portion of library grounds. We thank our story walk guardians. Marlene is one, and Maria was the other one. They make sure the signs are in place, they're cleaned off, and that people can enjoy nature, read a story, and get some exercise. This next slide highlights our Friends of the Library group. They are very hardworking. They held indoor and outdoor book sales, and they're at it again, sorting donated items for the fall book sale. It's next month, October 21st through the 23rd. This next slide shows how Overdrive and Libby were well used during the pandemic. Our electronic collection was up 30% over last year. We circulated over 100,000 digital items, which is almost 50% of our total circulation. All students in Hardin County now have 3 ways to check out items on Overdrive. They can use the new Sora app, a student digital card in partnership with our library and school systems, or the best way is to come to the library and get an all-access traditional card. This next slide tells about our databases, which are very popular. We added Mango Languages, and it's available remotely and also on-site to all of our patrons. This next slide talks about our teen group. The report doesn't capture the statistic, but we had 355 live virtual teen programs with 1,456 teens attending. That seems a little contradictory to be live and virtual, but what this is a teen library and the library by ourselves at our computer connecting with the teens in real time. and we had 355 of those. Our core group of teen participants grew from 14 to 40 during this time. This next slide highlights our outreach department. They added pop-up libraries to their schedule this summer, and they stopped every week at Colvin Community Center is at the top left. The bottom shows Freeman Lake, and then on the right shows the Farmers Market. This next slide again shows our outreach department. You can see our new bookmobile on the far left, and we're proud to say it is a Ford Starcraft. And we purchased this with the help of Fiscal Court. A bookmobile outfitter is now installing the shelving and lights, and we hope to have it on the roads as soon as possible. This next slide shows some of our partnerships. Our Friends of the Library group began co-sponsoring the Dolly Parton Imagination Library so that Hardin County children can take advantage of this early literacy opportunity. We successfully partnered with Woodland Elementary. We are a co-applicant for their 21st Century Community Learning Grant. And also, that was from the Kentucky Department of Education, and we also are a community partner with New Highland Elementary for their 21st Century Grant. We are committed to supplementing our school districts and helping all parents raise better readers. This next slide highlights some of our summer reading to make up for the loss of some of our in-person programs. We added extra weeks to both our adult and children's summer reading programs, allowing more participation and more opportunities to win prizes and incentives. We were so fortunate to have many local sponsors donate the prizes. On this next slide, you can see where the children signed their names. It's hard to see, but the top right slide, they all signed their names. Some of them were not really signatures, but that's okay. That went in a thank you note to all of our donors for our summer reading program for the children. This next slide highlights some of our adult programs. They are informative and educational and always fun. And I say this every year. Adults like to learn, and they like learning in group settings. They were so excited to return to the library in person, whether it was for a book club, crafting, fitness, art, or to learn more about health or legal issues. This next slide shows our STEAM kits. We were also looking for ways to stretch our dollars or to partner with other agencies that provide the same type benefits to our patrons. Our library was selected to distribute Do Science at Home STEAM kits with over 200 children registered to receive them. This was great because they could pick them up, take them home, and work on them with mom and dad when they everybody had to stay at home. We also received a $1,000 Save the Children grant, which we used for summer reading. We hope to take advantage of a public library facility construction grant next year to expand our building to create more space for children's and adult programming and the collections. At the same time, we need to update our existing building to allow more flexibility to meet the needs and expectations of our citizens. We're also planning to apply for an ARPA grant through KDLA to provide a book locker in Radcliffe next spring. And our last slide is a thank you to Fiscal Court for all of the in-kind services you provide for us each year, including help with building maintenance, that's John Bowen up there changing the light in the parking lot, from building and grounds, snow removal from the parking lot and the sidewalks from the road department, and the extra mowing done by the detention center, especially this year when we added our story walk, and it seemed like every week we had a special outdoor event. We really appreciate the extra mowing. And we thank you all for your financial support, and we appreciate having this opportunity to see you again in person, and we're now ready to answer any questions or hear any comments you may have.
As always, I'm just stunned at all these programs that you guys pull off out there. You do such a great job. Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Marlene, thank you for all your years of service, too. That's a very dedicated person.
Thank you. I attribute that to a great board and, of course, our director, you people right here in front of us, and our citizens, our community.
Thank
It's
you
really
all.
been
Thank you,
rewarding.
Kevin, for all you've done out there, too.
Anyone else?
Yes, one question. Libby versus overdrive. If you've got one, you have the other basically?
You don't need overdrive anymore. Libby is really all you need.
Do I need to switch from overdrive to Libby?
You just start using Libby, and it's like a one-step download, and whether you're reading on your phone or you're listening on your phone or through an iPad, it'll automatically transfer your history, your account number, everything. We need to make that more clear. Thank you for bringing that to my attention.
Anyone else? Well, I'd add also my thanks for everybody in the county for the great job that you do each and every day with the limited resources you have, and particularly to our Board of Trustees that are volunteers and put a lot of time and effort into this. So please take back to Sue, and Suzanne, and Will our thanks as well. I know they weren't with us today, but if you take that back to them, we'd certainly appreciate it.
Thank you.
They were sorry they couldn't be here this morning. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we'll move on to EMS today. We have Mr. Mark Peterson.
Good morning.
Morning. Morning.
I present to you the August 2021 activity report for Hardin County EMS. First slide is our average monthly collection comparison, comparing fiscal year 2021 to 21-22. You can see we've got a little bit increase of about $13,000 compared to last year. Next slide is the balance of our collection accounts. Not much of a decrease. We still have about $4.2 million in collections from our billing companies, but it is down about $105,000 from this time last year. Looking at billable versus non-billable runs for this year versus last year this time, we have 1,631 runs for this year versus 1,467 runs for last year as far as billable runs, which shows about a 330 run increase from this time last year. With that increase, our mileage is down somehow. It's down about 346 miles a month. I think we can attribute that to not as many out-of-county transfers to Louisville, but we have traveled about 82,000 miles so far this year. In a summary, so far, we've traveled 82,010 miles. We've made a total of 3,224 runs. Of those, 830 were non-billable, 2,394 were billable. We've collected $752,000 as well as $10,000 from claims. Our expenditures are about $1.1 million with a net of $372,000. I would also like to add that so far as of yesterday morning, we've collected close to $600,000 just for the month alone, which is a huge increase for us over the last several months. So, any questions?
Questions? Anyone? We appreciate the great job and the good news about how this month is going so far revenue-wise.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Terrific. Thank you. All right, next we'll hear from Mike Leo, E911.
Morning, Judge Barry, members of the Fiscal Court.
Morning.
Morning. Here to present the activity report for the 911 Center for the month of August. 911 calls answered, 4,942. 8,111 CAD reports created. Answered 3,163 administrative calls. Dispatched 1,667 EMS runs. Dispatched 408 fire runs. And handled 1,107 attempt to serve prisoner transports and traffic stop type calls. Graphs just a breakdown of calls for service by agency, showing at EMS with 63.6%, then the Sheriff's Office at 17.9%. Then you can see the other departments we dispatch for there and their percentages. Fire runs by departments for the month of August. E-Town at 28.1%. Radcliffe at 24.8%. Then you can see the remainder of the fire departments in the county there, the percentages. Calls transferred to secondary sites, law agencies in our county. Total costs transferred, 1,209. 397 to Radcliffe Police, 595 to E-Town Police, and 217 to the Kentucky State Police. That'll be it for my presentation, and take any questions.
Comments or questions from Mike? Thanks. Appreciate the good work as always.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next will be the Hardin County Detention Center report. Jailer Josh Lindblom.
Morning, whatever it is.
Morning.
Don't get ahead, don't get ahead.
Well, first off, I mean, he didn't toot his own horn, but, Leo here got, E91 Director of the Year, so, another feat, Ronnie Goodman's birthday. Happy birthday, Ronnie Goodman.
Thank you.
Hey, Josh, it's the 36th anniversary of number 39.
I believe it. All right, if you look at the intake release information so far, pre-COVID, so the law enforcement agencies around here and stuff been very busy, and like I said, we got good law enforcement around here, so it stayed very busy. But if you look at it, we're still over on state prisons for Craig County, even though the state is not transferring any around right now, so we do have open beds for state prisoners, but as of right now and stuff, the state doesn't really transfer them around right now, so hopefully in the future and stuff, some of these meetings and stuff, everything will shake out, and hopefully they'll start transferring again. If you look at it, operating influences rise up 36, assault 4-3, 35, possession of marijuana 30, violation of Kentucky EPO 6, non-payment of fines 2, theft by deception code checks 3, shoplifting, and of course shoplifting coming into the Christmas months and everything and stuff, it'll start going up. If you look at the felony charges, it's been a weird time in Hardin County and and neighboring counties as well. So, but if you look at it, burglaries up 6, robbery 2, assault 1st, 2nd, 3rd 10, possession of controlled substance 67, flagrant non-support 3, and trafficking illegal substances 28. We only had the 2 weekenders pull in this last time. The weekenders have to go through a strict regimen of COVID testing and everything before they come in, so it dwindles the numbers down. So we make sure that we don't, want the rest of the facility infected. So it's a process, and it's a costly process, but the good thing about that is it comes out of commissary funds, so the county taxpayer doesn't pay for it, so that helps out. If you look at the inmate hours worked, we actually changed a little something on here. If you look at the savings, we calculated the number of hours worked in the community, and just multiply it by minimum wage, and that's what your monthly savings will be for all the hours worked in the areas around Hardin County. So far this month, we have actually worked cleaning up after a couple parades, cleaning up after a couple festivals, and helping set up for some festivals for some of these charities, and also getting some areas ready for like the Halloween time and everything else. So if you look at it, they do a lot of work. A city lot that was just overgrown and just piled up with stuff. Place where a lot of people were going. There was some prostitution taking place back there, and there was also some drugs. And I tell you this, the guys went in there and tore it up. Even Daniel London come out with his own piece of equipment and saved us a couple days of work helping tear it down. So now everybody around that area and stuff doesn't have all that stuff going on. So it's a whole lot safer of an area now. And then CV Town actually sat there with us the whole time, helped haul everything off, and it worked out well. It's a whole lot safer of an area now. On the medical appointments, outside appointments are only 20 this month. Emergency room visits was 13. We've had a lot of folks come in that were in pretty bad health. You get folks that come in that haven't taken their medication in 6 months since the last time they were in jail. You get people that come in and stuff with different symptoms and everything and stuff. So that's why the emergency room visits was up a little higher. Nursing visits 1,180, medical requests, there was 142 put in. Hospital admissions was 2. Inmates on medication is down to 312, so that's actually a big plus, but it's still one of the primary costs that we have of medical. It's an average of 52 hours per admission, so you figure you have to have a deputy sit there with them the whole time, and like I said, 56 hours in the hospital and stuff. It puts a hanker on the staff because they have to sit there with them and stuff, but, you know, we're able to rebill, you know, through Medicaid rates and everything, so that's a little bit of money. If you look at the inmate trash road cleanup program, they've been busy. You know, with all these fast food places and everything that don't let you eat in the lobby, there's a lot more trash gets thrown out on the road. And if you notice, they've been staying busy. You know, 3,336 bags of trash, and it's weird because they get people from Jefferson County that come into town here and they look around, they're like, hey, you know, what do y'all do down here and stuff? Because they stay real clean, and I'm very proud of them guys, and they love to do it. So it's a big plus for the county because, you know, we don't want a trashed up county, you know. So, anybody got any questions? Do we need to sing to Ronnie Goodman for?
Rubbing it in, aren't you?
All right, appreciate y'all. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank
We
you, Judge.
appreciate the good job. Thanks. We'll move to item number 4, which is ordinances, agreements, and resolutions. We have one resolution today. It's number 2021-173. It's approving the road closure off Rebecca Ann Court in Serene Oaks subdivision. That's the public hearing that was conducted by Mr. Jones earlier today that Mr. Adam King testified at. What's the pleasure of the court?
Motion approved.
Motion by Mr. Doug Goodman, second by Mr. King.
No.
Ronnie Goodman? Mr. Ronnie Goodman, I'm sorry. With the mask, it's hard to tell. Any discussion? Hearing none, Ms. Donnelly?
Judge Barry,
Yes.
Easter,
Yes.
Doug Goodman,
Yes.
Williams. Yes. Wiseman,
Yes.
Ronnie Goodman,
Yes.
King.
Yes.
Next is the consent agenda. It was included in your electronic packet. Are there any corrections that need to be made?
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Doug Goodman, second by Ms. Williams. Any discussion? Hearing none, Ms. Donnelly?
Easter,
Yes.
Doug Goodman,
Yes.
Williams. Yes. Wiseman,
Yes.
Ronnie Goodman,
Yes.
King,
Yes.
Judge Barry.
Yes. We'll start with the comments today. We're at the table with Ms. Williams.
Don't really have any news, but I just wanted to say congratulations and thank you, Judge, and to all of our leaders and the folks in this county that had the vision on the Glendale project all those many years ago, and we're finally seeing the fruition, and that's a great day for Hardin County. So thank you to you and all the way up to the governor.
Well, it's been a lot of hard work by a lot of folks for a long time, so we're very blessed. Thank you.
Great news.
Mr. Doug Goodman.
Public Works Committee will meet Tuesday at 9 a.m. across the hallway. That concludes mine, Judge.
All right, Mr. Easter?
Judge, during the prayer, I was talking about leadership. I just want to make sure all the department heads, and no matter where you work, or really appreciate what they do and the efforts, because no matter what conference or where I go, there's always somebody constantly asking, how do you do this? How do y'all do that? And we're very fortunate, very blessed to have the leadership that we have in our department heads, and it really makes our job up here a whole lot easier. So I just want to say thank you. That's all.
Mr. King?
Judge, I don't have anything. Thank you.
Mr. Ronnie Goodman?
Just ditto what Roy said. Proud of all the ones that hold the departments, everyone that's here today, and the others that's not. Thank you all. Makes it work a lot easier.
Mr. Wiseman?
With Mr. Glenn being absent, got to bring up, do not drink and drive, and do not text and drive. If we didn't bring that up, he'd be disappointed.
That's right.
It's covered.
Mr. Clement, I appreciate you doing that.
I can hardly tell the difference.
Mr. Jones, anything else from your office?
Judge, I would like to comment on Jailer Lindblom's presentation. I have the opportunity of working with him on basically a daily basis. And that Hardin County is lucky to have a jailer that takes such a personal interest in making sure everything's just right. If it's a call at 10 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock in the, 2 a.m., 10 a.m., 3 p.m., it is the jailer. It's not his chief deputy. It's not anybody that he is commissioning to do it. He's doing it himself, trying to make sure we get it just right, that we keep as many people as we need to keep in, and if there's someone that can safely be released at a savings, a substantial savings to the county, that we work on that. And so I just want to commend him to the court that he's doing an extraordinary job, and he's doing it very personally.
Thank you. Mr. Donnelly, anything from your office?
No, sir.
I would point out we did have closed session on the agenda, but the need for that is went away now at this meeting, so we'll we address it another time. I would remind everybody that October 12th is our next meeting here in the courtroom at 3:30 in the afternoon. And if there's nothing else to come before us, a motion will be in order for us to adjourn.
So moved. Second.
Motion by Mr. King, second by Mr. Easter. Hearing no objection, we stand adjourned. Thank you.